Hello again. I'm always fascinated by anti-Semitism and its most modern iteration, anti-Zionism. Across the world, those who are left-wing subscribe to a weird and distorted view of Israel, calling it an apartheid state and so on. The boycott, divestment and sanctions movement is a typical example of left-wing activism against Israel. What is strange is that this was not the case until the 1980s. Before then, Israel was the darling of many socialists. Here is a book belonging to me, which was published in 1964. It is something of a classic in its description of the Shemer Atzair kibbutz movement, and it has a foreword written by a most surprising individual. Let me just read a few lines of the foreword which was written. In 1945, four of us, all RAF pilots, wrote off to the Jewish agency in Jerusalem and asked if they could arrange for us to spend our leave at a kibbutz. And then the person writes about Shah HaGolan. I know the kibbutz Shah HaGolan, it's beneath the Golan Heights. Talks with great enthusiasm about the educational experiments. What have they got to offer the wider community? The cultural vitality, all sorts of exciting things. And then finally, the person says this. People all over the world are moving towards a socialist form of society by many paths. It would be surprising if those who are trying to evolve an organic structure for the societies which they aim to create did not find much to inspire and help them in the experience of the collective settlements which are described so fully in this book. There you are, a most enthusiastic endorsement from an unexpected source. The foreword was, of course, written by Anthony Wedgwood Benn, or Tony Benn, as he later became known. Mind, I remember him when he was Viscount Stansgate. What, you didn't know that Tony Benn was an RAF pilot during the war in South Africa and Rhodesia? Nor that he was a committed Zionist? Well, of course not. He mentioned the educational experiment of the kibbutz, and that too was a matter of enormous interest for left-wingers 50 years ago. Some older viewers might remember this book, Children of the Dream. You'd see a lot of young people reading this in the early 70s. There was great interest. This book is all about the education and the raising of children on the kibbutz. And it was thought to be a model for what could be achieved in other countries. I've mentioned before that on the kibbutzim, children left their parents when they were about a month, 2 months old, and were raised communally. It really was a different way of life. I've watched the left wing change tack dramatically in recent years, and now, of course, they all hate Israel like the plague, which is a really intriguing phenomenon.